Angelina, with my Angelina. Oh, me all down. Anytime when I see you for the club or the television, your body. Sure you know say the thing when you carry 50 kill somebody. You know I feel a vibe, you feel a vibe, so baby whine about me. Yeah, and I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love on the low.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is 9:20 and it's time for your Talk to Me or Open Forum, if you may, where you call in and we discuss whatever it is that you want to talk about this morning. The number to call is 447-999. But you can also place calls. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook at WFM99SVG. So over the weekend, I came across a post on Facebook where and I hope I'm not butchering this young lady's name, Zanny Brown Miller. She made a post that caught my attention, and it started discussions across Facebook. It said, you see, Vincentians, nobody would be offering a certain product or service on her, and one person decided to start a business doing that one thing, and just because they see that one person flourishing with their business, all of a sudden they start to do it. So she said she remember one person was making cake toppers and photo frames and props, at least to her knowledge, and then all of a sudden she saw other persons doing it as well. And she said she could give more examples. She's saying that she doesn't think that that is wrong, that for anybody to start a business in the same field, but she's just saying some persons start businesses solely to compete with other persons. She said that is why some businesses don't last, and it's because the businesses are built on the wrong things. So she said, she ended it by saying, stop creating businesses out of bad mind. God don't like ugly. So I want to know, what are your thoughts this morning? Are Vincentians copying each other, or is it just competition in certain sectors or certain business areas?
All right, Doc, I'll let you go first.
No, I don't think anybody is pumping money into something just for spite.
You'd be surprised, Anna Doc.
No.
Okay.
I think that people, in terms of new ideas, in terms of new concept, people say, oh boy, I wish I'd thought about that first. Or I could do that, I could do that too. And we've always had that sort of concept. Somebody opens up a Morby shop, a rum shop at one end of the road, somebody opens another one. Somebody gets a van transporting people, somebody else say, boy, that's for something that making money, I'll do it too. Somebody's producing this crop and say, boy, this crop will sell, and so forth. Let me get into that crop too.
Mm-hmm.
It is that it doesn't mean everybody can come up with a new idea, because a lot of new ideas will fail. And so people are afraid to get into some new ideas that they have because they don't know if it'll work. But if they see something else working, I think that they might try that too, because they're able to do it and may be able to put that their money thinking that they could do it better.
All right, so to lend my voice to this discussion, as a person in business myself, I am not going to necessarily say that persons are copying.
Business? What line of business do you do?
Oh, I am for the most part, I'm an embroiderer. Okay. I have offer different products and services. Yes. Business is called Romax. Thank you, WEFM. Right? But yeah, I offer different embroidery services and products. And so the thing of it is that there are going to be times when a business idea is going to overlap, because really and truly, there's nothing new under the sun, right? To say that persons are starting businesses here in SVG out of bad mind, no. What it is that I think is that many persons wait until somebody starts something, see that it is successful, and then they want to copy it, right? And the thing with this particular situation is that for many persons, they may not necessarily have that entrepreneurial spirit, but they look at it as a way to make money, right? And I always say that if you're going into business just to make money itself, you're kind of going into it for the wrong reason, because there's a lot more with running a business than just the making money part of it. So there are many persons who don't stop and think about what all work has to go into actually having a business. So as I said, there are going to be times when products or services are going to overlap. One of the things that I have always advocated for many persons is that even though there are products and services that are overlapping, when you start a business here in SVG, you have to be mindful that if your product is just going to be here in SVG, that the market is relatively small, right? And we cannot saturate the market with the same type of products or services. Persons have to find, even if there's an overlap, find out what niche area you can create within your own business that is going to have you stand apart from others. And not just about standing apart in terms of setting up that particular niche area, but what you also need to do is constantly keep reinventing things, keep adding product lines, keep adding different products or services to your business. So that way that you tend to stand apart from the rest of your competitors, right? Additionally, I tend to find that persons are not creative enough. And I always tell people that one of the ways in which you could probably come up with a new concept to introduce here in SVG is to look at Instagram, or even sometimes those ads that we see come up when we're on social media. Some of these products that you see coming out of China, etc. Consider them and think, can this be added here in SVG, right? Something simple like the other day I saw a product where they had a mobile hair washing stand, right? And I threw this out and I told persons, well, this is something that you can do, because you can move, let's say, to persons who are homebound. They cannot move from their homes. Let's say they're paralyzed or whatever. You can create a business that offers mobile hair washing services. So, and the reason how I came up with that was because I saw it come up through an ad that I was actually going to close out, but I thought this is actually something that can be unique and can be added here to the Vinci market. So I think sometimes persons need to be creative. There isn't any need just because you think that something is working for somebody means that you have to copy wholesale. You can copy, yes, but try to find a niche area around it, because as I said, our market here in SVG is small. It makes no sense saturating your product or the same business here in SVG. Try to think outside of the box, even if it's not necessarily new in terms of a global context. It might be new here in SVG, and you could capitalize on that.
No, there's no issue with competing with persons with saying that a model works and you apply the model yourself. If it is that I see persons buying minivans and making thousands of dollars from the minivan, and I decide, okay, I want minivans myself, there's nothing wrong with that. So I actually on the opposite side of what Roleza just said regarding if you're entering a business for money, then you're entering it for the wrong reason. If I enter in a business for money,
solely.
If I enter in a business solely to make money, I don't see the issue with that, because I did to put food on my plate. I did to take care of my people. Now, there are people who create the businesses to compete with other people. There are people who create businesses out of malice and other varying factors. And I could, off the top of my head, I could think of events. For instance, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying these promoters are bad-minded, but do you remember Stush, the party for Hot 97, I think? Stush had been going on for a while, and then boom, there's Anti-Stush to compete with Stush. Then there's AM, and then there's Viscera to compete with AM. And there have been businesses that exist to compete with other businesses. You probably went in, you didn't like the service they got, and you're like, I could do this myself. And if that is what they're doing, people maybe my business would do better than their business in taking care of people in a different way. And that is usually Flow and Digicel. Is it that Digicel just came about because Digicel wanted to come about, or was it Flow existed and they needed to compete against it? They believed that they had a better product and they wanted to compete against them.
No, Harry. Flow was there. I hate to say this, people.
Cable and wireless.
And the cost per minute
Mm.
for international call was $6. And trying to make a mobile phone call was just
Because they had the
You- you-
monopoly.
you-
the problem
they
was
had the-
because there was the
because
monopoly.
they had monopoly.
So
I
competition.
happen to have been
Mm.
the minister of government.
That's
who
why I made
signed- I know I made the
Mhm.
reference. And basically, we brought the prices down. We made that available. We saw these new services being developed. That's what we, from a news point of view, we're
So,
talking about today.
You realize that there's a thin line now.
So the point, there was another company, AT&T, we gave a license.
But AT&T didn't last.
It didn't last. So that's the point about it, is that from a competitive point of view, the market allow. If you don't, monopolies, and you will have people having. So if somebody has a show and they're making money, and there's another promoter, well, this person has a show carnival time the night before, the Sunday night, the Saturday night. This other person, they have the same show this Easter and so forth. There's no room for us. You know what I mean? What do? You have to put on something that is competitive. But I don't think it is done to put that entity out of business as such.
So
it is that you want that market share. You want to make that profit. You are a promoter.
So do you believe that it doesn't happen?
No.
So
I'm saying
I'm not missing what you're saying, but I'm saying, do you believe that it does not happen?
I believe what is that it's done to. I want the money that you're making. I want to make that money. As opposed to,
I think two things could happen.
Take money, I'm going to throw it at the wall. I keep throwing it at the wall until I put you out of business.
But then you remember also too, Ari. Okay, so you mentioned Stoosh and then you mentioned anti-Stoosh, right? So I'm just going to look at that, though that's in particular. So you have to remember too that there was a different target market, right? Stoosh was for persons who wanted to pay more, wanted to have a more glammed up type of activity to attend, and then anti-Stoosh catered to a different sector. So you could have two of the same things happening on the same night, but it's who is your target audience.
Okay, Roleza, you're a Romax, you do embroidery and whatever. Your stuff priced at let's say $12 for your embroidery. Somebody say, boy, this worth $8. Now I'm anti-Romax. How would you feel?
No, but in my case, remember in my case, right, there are other persons offering embroidery services. I would give you an example.
But
in my particular situation.
You're the best.
It's not about that,
yeah,
Imagine a business coming forward called anti-Romax that is cheaper than Romax.
But the thing of it, Ari, you could call it anything, but also remember the reason why it is that I've been in business or I've stayed in business is because of my customer base. They're guaranteed, oh gosh, and I don't even want to be using WEFM Airways for this, but they're guaranteed quality product. They guarantee that whatever it is that I said that I'm going to do, I am going to do it, try to fulfill on time. So I have that market base because I have repeat customers from 8 years ago, right? So even if a new business starts up with embroidery, then that's fine. But I've already had my customer base.
Listen,
one of the things that I am going
parties.
to say, one of the other things that I'm going to say is I have with my customer base, many persons have actually thought that I do screen prints. Because of the work that I do, they think that it's screen prints. I keep telling persons I do not offer screen printing. Now, the thing of it is that I could possibly go into screen prints because of the fact that persons would also like to see me doing this. But I've always been adamant that I'm not doing it. Why? Because there are so many other persons out there offering screen printing services already. Now, I could probably go into it with a bad mind and say, okay, let me try to capitalize on getting that market share of additional customers. But why would I when I'm taking food out of the mouth of other persons?
Imagine you create a brand and a brand pops up anti what your brand is.
A steel pan. In China, they try to patent the steel pan and producing it and so forth. Look at all the products that come out of China. You think that this is, you go to Bahamas, you think, oh, this is an authentic Bahamas product or Vincentians product. Then check at the bottom, made in China. I think that competition, global competition, and now using not only that, I would say politics in order to, so that when United States, I won't ban TikTok unless it's owned by somebody else, or I want to be the leader in renewable energy or in this area versus some other entity that also wants to be the leader. You're going to see these things. And at a local level, you have the same thing.
I think you both missing the point, right? How do I create a brand and another brand pops up? Anti my brand. The name of it is anti my brand.
well,
Regardless, wait. I love all it to talk. Wait.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
I am
one
bringing a
thing.
specific situation because you're pretending like these things don't happen. There are people who have the resources, and if it is that they don't like you or they don't like something that happened, they have the resources to create the business. They will create the business. It happens.
You're bringing one
But
example.
for you to pretend, because
give me a second one. Give me a second example.
Deliberate.
I
Give me
don't
an
want to
example.
come out here
No,
and call
come
anybody.
on.
But that's why.
You already
That
did
is
that.
why. No, and I did say I'm not specifying this, but this is
No, but
something
give us
public
another
knowledge
broad
that there's
example.
stush and there's
But
anti-stush.
give us another broad example.
There are businesses.
Harry, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that there may be that particular type of situation. I brought that up in relation to TikTok and so forth. And
TikTok is a different situation as
I'm
well.
just bringing you that those scenarios do happen, But the majority, I would say over 90%, I won't go 99%, are based on people wanting to also make money that you're making, and from a competitive point of view, think I can do it better, I can do it cheaper.
Yes, and that is fair.
Undermining,
But that is fair.
and
But
then
don't
people have to be careful with this whole undermining thing, because how low can you possibly go? There are instances when you have to consider that. When you try to undermine your competitor, you're going low. Now, sometimes what ends up being sacrificed is the quality of service, right? The quality of product. Persons also have to consider those factors as well. So the thing of it is that when you have a customer and a customer actually values what the product or service that you offer, that is one of the greatest ways in which you retain your customers. And word of mouth, you can have all the fancy ads that you want out there, but this is also one of the ways. Word of mouth advertising is one of the greatest forms of methods, especially here in SVG.
To give Ari some credit there, this case coming up with Donald Trump, where the Inquirer basically, from a competitive point of view, offered Stormy Daniel a large amount of money to get the story, and then decided to shelf the story, not print it, so as to hide it. Whereas another news agency would have published it, but would have paid a lower price to Stormy Daniel to get the story. So Ari, you're right in that respect. One entity can outperform another one for nefarious reasons and so forth. But I'm still gonna say the vast majority, over 90%.
I don't disagree with that in the minority. And that's what I wanted to say before this segment goes. Yeah. The problem here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is there's not a lot of creators and there's not a lot of disruptors. There are a lot of persons that tend to follow trends. If they see that this business is trending, if they see that the people making money from a clothing business, going to clothing business. Now we have 500 boutiques.
Online boutiques,
yes.
Especially.
Then you have persons doing earrings, anything that person see has a little swing to it. Vincentians tend to get on board, and then you have too many people in this focused area when there are vast areas that you could apply. Even that thing you mentioned, the wash hair thing.
But even with that too, Ari. So I am not opposed to competition, right? Yeah. We have time to take a call?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Morning, people. How are you all doing?
We're fine, and you?
Great, Mr. Thompson and Harry. Everything all right?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, all your life, right? We know that we watch the news and everything, and we know since 1979, Iran is begging for it. Now, let us balance the thing, guys. This is it's a kind of tight one dealing with this kind of scenario here with Iran and Israel. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you one thing, and I'm going to say it state it clearly. Iran will get destroyed. And this is why Biden is in that position he's in since 30 years old. He's been in the United States Senate. Now, Israel is wicked too. I'm going to tell you why Israel is wicked, guys. Israel was the sponsor of apartheid in South Africa. Israel helped South Africans. If you go back to the videos of apartheid in South Africa, you will see when the police fire the canisters at the black people. The black people will pick it up and it will burn off their hand, right? That is part of the Israelis, but they advanced themselves. They used to take it up with a cloth now. The other man who made all the chemical weapons in South Africa was a guy called Dr. Walter Basung, an Israeli who made the chemical weapons, whereby Mr. Thompson, I don't know if you remember SWAPO, the Southwest Africa's People's Organization. You remember that one? SWAPO?
Yeah.
They used to take the people them Roro and Ari. They used to take the black Africans when you fight, carry up in an airplane 2,000 feet and kick you out. Another thing they used to do, Israel used to do, gave South Africa, is when black people fighting, you have like 30, 40,000 coming down the road after you and they're all running. If you go online, you'll see it. Raise your head. 40,000 people running down a highway. That's a lot. You know what Israel gave South Africa? They gave them the sneezing gas. You know what Israel turned around and gave South Africa? A gas now. When they fire it in the crowd and you only smell that, in the next month to 6 weeks, your lungs collapse. Israel was good on the chemical. They're good on the chemical. So unfortunately, you're seeing biblical revelations being unfolded and you're seeing a lot of things unfolded. I'm not for war. I'm not going to say I'm for war. But at the end of the day, Israel went and blew down Iranian embassy. And at the end of the day, Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism. But at the end of the day, Israel running the apartheid system for a very, very, very long time.
All of them
including spreading. I'm telling you, because hey, not if you're gonna say it this way, Israel is doing America's dirty work. Because this is why now Biden could come and tell Israel, listen, cool out. Look, you done lick down nearly all the missiles that come. Okay, so cool it now and let me wait for something else. But right about now, this week you're gonna hear something real funny because Israel is intending to mash up Iran nuclear facilities. And one of the journalists online is saying, what does it take Iran to make a telephone call to their brethren in North Korea and say, listen, send me one of them small things there for me, please. Mm-hmm. What is to stop Iran from doing that? Right. So guys, prepare for higher fuel prices, prepare for higher consumption prices going up, food, etc., etc., etc. So I'll drop in now one day. At least I can support you anyway. No jet skis this morning, though. We have to look for another morning for that.
All right.
All right. People, enjoy your day. Mr. Thompson, you don't know.
All right. Take care. All right. So just to sum up, something I was going to say. So competition is healthy. I am all for competition because it does work to the benefit of the consumer, to the customer. All right. But it's just that I think here in SVG, we have to be mindful, as I said before, that we do have a small target market and persons have to also be mindful of saturating the country with the same products and services. You have to know who your target market is. And as I said, even if your products and services overlap with someone else, try to still find a niche way around it and also try to be as innovative as much as you possibly can with whatever product or service that you're offering.
All right. Anything to add, Doc?
No, I think Roro says it all.
Yes. So at this point, we're going to go into our news in brief this morning. Well, community daytime, my apologies.